Welcome back to the show. Today we're going to talk about some interesting stuff about how to really make your employees healthier, really how to bring vitality and light and really have our people grow with some ideas that will, trigger and challenge them and challenge us as leaders on how we support them. And I'm really excited about having Jeremy on the show. Jeremy, welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Anthony.
As we start to look at healthcare, a lot of our people have, so much stuff coming at them from all different angles. Go organic, go this way, all protein, all carbohydrates, eat vegetarian, don't eat vegetarian. A lot of our people struggle to find a proper healthcare pattern to live. And and that's for people that are really even trying. Those are the folks that are trying. What about the ones who don't even begin to try?
Yeah, they're totally lost. They're scared, and by the way, they're costing your plans gobs of money. I mean, that's where our costs come from, right? Our costs come from those. You've got all those wonderful programs in your company. They're great. We got gym memberships. We got this. We got that. It's all great, right? Except the people that need to be in it, they need to be participating. They're not. They're not, they're stressed. They're stressed maybe because of you, hopefully not, but they're stressed and they're going to McDonald's and they're doing this stuff and they're undisciplined. And I'll be honest, a lot of them in our experience have collateral mental health issues. They're dealing with a lot and it's a problem. So how do you get those people to change their behaviors? Because that's really what this is all about, right? Where are your costs coming from? Those individuals' behaviors. They're kind of, I don't want to call them the villains, but in a way within your plan, right? They're kind of the villains in your plan that are costing everybody else the money.
That's right. I mean, like those are the impacts that make it difficult for each self-insured company that's out there.
Yeah, and you got to find a way to engage with them, right? Because they're not going to engage with you. They have ample opportunities. Everybody in the world has ample opportunities, especially in America, to make solid decisions, to do these things, to find the right answers. And we've proven that by taking these people, making them non-villains, making them feel like they're cared for, feel like they're meaningful, working through their issues and helping them make progress in their care. But it's like, it doesn't matter what your socioeconomic background is. We take people from the bottoms of companies, the lowest common denominators, and get them to change their health. They can all do it, but they don't.
Well, it's like knowledge isn't helpful. I mean, everybody knows what to eat. Everybody knows how to, they've got to work out. Everybody knows how to live in a way that's healthy. But knowledge doesn't necessarily equate to healthiness.
Yeah, I mean, you meet with a participant, right? And they're diabetic, they've got hypertension, they're on their drugs, they hopefully have seen their doctor in the last year. But it's like, going in and telling somebody in a program, hey, you should get your blood sugars under control. Like, they've heard that 33 times. That's not the issue here. We're not dealing with the issue. And I got to be honest, that's part of why a lot of these telemedicine approaches and things like this that are not in person, not relational, and not face-to-face utterly fail. Because it's not about them taking their meds necessarily. It's not about the fact that they don't know their blood sugars are out of control. It's about, I feel overwhelmed, I feel stressed, I can't manage my stress, and I don't feel like I can make good decisions. So I'm just not going to make decisions. And oh, by the way, the reaction to that is everybody else's healthcare goes up because we're not taking care of it.
I sometimes wonder, like I look at those employees and think to myself, okay, what can we do to support them? If
Sure.
With alcoholics, it's kind of easy.
Right.
You're like, all right, listen,
Right.
man, you can see it with someone on drugs. You can see it with somebody that's, alcohol abusing. You can really look at them and go, hey, can you see the cost of your lifestyle is affecting the way that your life is, right? You can kind of see it, and maybe they go through a few road rashes and pain, and somewhere in there you can go, hey, look, let's just see what happens if you tried a week without drinking, right? And you could,
Yeah.
and there's some easy pain there to solve, but people who just maybe it's not that, maybe they just live an overall that just, hey, look, I'm eating too much fast food. Hey, I'm not working out. Hey, I'm not. I don't find a spiritual regimen. I don't have that lifestyle that is find a place where I do some internal work, right? Some of those people, bring to the table, and it's hard because they're in a cloud, and I look at them and go, all right, it's not that easy to speak to someone that's in the cloud, right? In that mental funk, right? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and it's because you brought up a great point. With an alcoholic, usually when they're talking to you, the costs are high. They're feeling the costs already. They haven't necessarily had the crisis yet, but maybe they had some near misses. Maybe they've had a DUI. Things like the costs are high, right? They can feel it. I'm an economist, right? The time presence of that value, it's today. Whereas the guy that's eating way too much junk food, his costs are way in the future. He doesn't feel them. He knows they're coming, but it feels like, I can probably skirt just a few more days. And that's honestly part of what we do, right? When we're embedded in these companies, when we're working with these people, when we're showing them that we care, part of it is to get them to realize the cost is now. The cost is now, because what you're doing right now is setting up this lifetime of failure. When you go to the hospital for your heart attack, when it is going to happen, not if it's going to happen, when it is going to happen, you're going to feel really, really sorry that you didn't get this taken care of. And it's going to be real expensive for you, and it's going to have an incredible impact on your life. Your quality of life's altered forever. So, hey, why don't we start the process now? And it takes a little bit of fear. It takes a little bit of that psychology to get it going, and that's what it takes, right? So you got to get in front of them and do that, because they're not going to get there on their own. Because I really enjoy, that McDonald's cheeseburger. That's great.
Well, they've had a lifetime of these special diets. I remember when I lost 20 pounds,
Right.
I did the Atkins,
Right.
I lost 20 pounds,
Right.
and I can reset it. And that's like in the back of their mind.
Right.
Like, look, I'll eat like
Yeah.
crap, I'll eat like crap, I'll eat like crap, I'll live like crap, I'll eat like, right? I'll do one of those reset
Yeah.
diets, and I'll be right back to there. And those fad diets have put us on this path of, I'll make up for it. I'll make up for it. And it's
Yeah.
the constant lie of, I don't have to make the next right decision. I mean, look, I personally have
Right.
done the same thing, right? There's been times when I'm like, all right, I'll make the mistake, or I'll do something. I kind of get the efforts, forget it. I'll my next meal will be better. And I know that, it's in how I do this is how I do everything. And the lifestyle I'm living today always echoes that 5 or 10 years out, right? There's going to be, what I'm doing today, am I getting up and going to the gym? Am I eating a great breakfast, a great lunch, a great dinner? Am I practicing spiritual practices that bring me centered and give me focus? Or, all that other stuff. So that's it's the work to help them through that, right? As we really look at them, go, all right, look, we got to get you from there, and being able to see that, and maybe not shaming them, because I don't know that's ever worked, right? No one's ever,
Nope.
You suck, try it this way. I don't know if that ever worked, but somewhere going, look, it's not that hard of a path. We're going to make one right decision. And let's talk about how you guys do that, because I think you've got a really, a compelling story for taking those folks and guiding them. And I think every entrepreneur wants their people to be healthier. Because one, it makes for a better company, but two, there's some real financial impacts to the whole program.
Huge. It's a huge part of your cost. And number one, it starts with humility and authenticity. So when we come into a company, the reason it works is because it's voluntary and it's confidential, right? Those people have to feel very safe, because they do not feel safe pretty much anywhere in the system. And it may bother the heck out of the employer, because you're listening like, hey, just get your act together. Well, you're a business owner. You're a highly disciplined person. You probably do not relate to this person all that well. We do. Our team does. So we come in, and because it's authentic, because we have to legitimately care about them, we select our nurse team and our medical director team to be very empathetic people. Their clinical expertise matters a lot, but they've got to really, really care about people. That's why they're doing this. They left practices because, hey, I'm tired of spending 5 minutes and then just prescribing a pill, because I realize I'm going to have no impact on this person. I want to go someplace I can have an impact. Well, they come to us. And then they get in with these people, and it's about authenticity. Because the minute they sniff that you view them as a cost, they're gone. They're gone. But if you can prove to them, I actually care about you. I love you, in fact. And we're going to work through this together. We're a team. I'm not leaving your side even when you want to give up. I'm still calling you. I'm still setting up these meetings. We're still getting together. If you need to meet 3 times next week for 2 hours each, we're going to do it. If you need to meet at your house outside of office hours, we're going to do it. If I've got to go to you and go with you to your provider so we can have a conversation. I'm there. It's about total commitment. And that's what's so great. You as a business owner, you're not going to be able to provide that. Your HR team doesn't have the expertise. They're not even going to bother going through the claims data usually. There's certain things they can't see because of HIPAA compliance, things like that. So you're not going to have the expertise or time to do it. But you hire us. And the cool thing about hiring a team like us is not only do we get to invest all that time to make this happen, save you money, drive down costs, but your employee believes that you invested in a product that shows that you care. And see what that does to your corporate culture. I mean, we have people that, for instance, we had an individual I was mentioning to you earlier, just last week, 3 or 4 weeks ago, right? Going to an orthopodic, very qualified doctor, some back issues. Maybe needed a laminectomy, something like that, right? Goes in. We look at the chart and we're thinking, this is not a laminectomy. This is a very rare condition. The orthopod, who's a very good orthopod, says, oh, I've done 1,000 of these. So we go into the meeting, right? This is the type of investment. This was half of our medical director's day. We go into that room and we say, boy, I'm not sure you've done 1,000 of these because you know what? I've only seen about 15 of these in my entire career across the United States managing 30,000 people. This is extremely rare, right? So you know what? This individual, we tell him, you can make your decision. It's still voluntary. You can go to the orthopod, but let us look for somebody special to do this. And we found a microsurgeon, and this individual was headed for paralysis. So not only is that a massive cost to your system, right? Massive cost, but that person's going to be out of work. The way they work, if they had a manual labor job, totally altered, probably can't even be sustained. Right, his whole life is altered. His quality of life's altered. That trickles throughout your entire population because they might have been real good friends with this guy, and then all of a sudden he's gone. Tragic thing. Instead, he walks in pain-free 2.5 weeks later, off of his opiates, off of all those things, ready to go to work, and unbelievably motivated. And you get to take credit for that. You get a business to be able to take credit for that because we don't. It's you hired us to care about your employees. It's an unbelievable message.
Well, I've had that same experience. I went to a shoulder doctor who did a great job on my right arm.
Yep.
Right? I mean, great. Like
right.
I needed a new replacement shoulder. I got the replacement one. My left one was bothering me. Right, it started really bothering me. And I went in there, and he's like, "Yeah, it needs to be replaced." And I literally had it scheduled to be replaced like a week later, or a couple weeks later, and something got me going. It just started bothering me. Maybe, what I know about shoulder surgeries are that I have to, you want to wait as long as you can because, one, the technology keeps getting better, but two, your chance of having a replacement, later on, you want to kind of mitigate as much of that as possible. And all of a sudden I started doing some physical therapy, and now, look, I've got the shoulder, working, and I never went and got that surgery. I called him and said, look, I'm going to wait a little bit on this thing. And I went and did some great physical therapy. But one of the things that maybe is suspicious is, he's knocking down, 5 of these surgeries a week, right? And he's got a little production plant of, not that the shoulder surgery wouldn't have gone well, and he does a great job of it,
right.
But did I really need it, right? Is his motivation as my motivation, right? And right now I'm doing great. I mean, the shoulder's literally as strong as the other one. I don't have to go through it. I don't have the pain that I thought I was going to have in it. And now it makes me maybe a little suspicious of the system, right? Don't trust he who's got the production plant of surgery. And
I don't blame him. Cutters want to cut because they really do believe it's curative. It's not just that, hey, I'm going to put it through, but it's like it's going to be curative. And would it be curative? Yes. Yeah. But there's potential for side effects. There's potential for things to go wrong later on. There's potential for scar tissue to build up, all those things. And then you're doing another scope, and then you've got more cost, and then, arthritis later on, things like that. Whereas, again, we are that conduit. You were lucky enough you were thinking that way, right? Because you're a very disciplined individual and you care about your own health and you're very protective of it. Not everybody is. They're trusting the experts, right? And it's not that cutter, it's not that surgeon, that shoulder surgeon's not an expert. He knows exactly what he can do. What he doesn't know is the alternatives.
Well, or really, he's not motivated by the alternatives.
Right. He's not sure. Right.
Yeah, when he's got 5 houses, I'm not saying he's malevolent, so I don't want to go that far.
Of course.
But
no.
His definite goal was, hey, I'll make it go away. you're having some pain in that. I'll make it go away by replacing the whole shoulder. And
Right.
maybe there's some other options to that before. And I think that's what I want, right? I want a relationship. And, I've
Yeah.
gone to a concierge doctor and, we work really hard on my preventative maintenance, right? It's something that I invest in, right? I have a relationship with her that,
Right.
we do a lot of very preemptive work. I'm looking to stay around for a while. I'd like to live to 150. I don't know how we'll get there, but I'm hoping at least I get to the bridge to where life expectancy continues to grow, and I'm hoping I can bridge to that point where that next bump in longevity gets created, and I'm around long enough to get to that bump. That's kind of the way I look at life. Is I'd like to get to the next longevity marker growth spurt that we're going to go through as humans, and certainly when I was born, it was your expectancy as a man was 58, 68.
Right.
Today we're growing that, and that continues to grow. And I want to be part of that. I want to be around and be part of that. I'm not thinking that this service is really for me, right? I think this is for people who aren't thinking about this at all.
Yeah, but it can be for you in certain situations too, because again, we've got access to world-class experts across the country. So even though your concierge doc is aware of what's going on in your area, that concierge doc might not be aware of a very new, very aggressive treatment that's taking place at MD Anderson, right? Or at this facility. And we make those connections, and even at the upper cases when you're dealing with a complex situation, we search the globe to make sure this is what's necessary for you. Is there a better option? But yeah, to your point, who's going to benefit the most? All of the people that are not taking control of their health, that don't have access to a concierge, that don't have access to those things, which is the majority of your employees, right? And even if they have a concierge system, are they really going to use it, right? You're going there frequently. You're asking questions. You're calling. You're very curious about your health. These people are scared about their health.
So
they don't want to ask the question.
Talk to me a little bit. How do you set up? That's kind of this walkthrough, right? So as an entrepreneur, I want to bring you in. I want to look at my staff and offer this as a service. Talk to me a little bit. How does that start?
Yeah, it starts with education, right? So we're going through and we're just making them aware that we're here. We spend a lot of time early on in a relationship just on what we call internal marketing, because we've got to get the splash. We do a lot of in-person education. We try to have a hook. You like to have a hook on your podcast. If we're giving a presentation on diabetes, it's not just going to be a presentation about diabetes. We're going to talk about Ozempic. We're going to talk about different things that are controversial to make sure people are interested and that they stay, right? And then once they're aware of us, then we're starting to reach out to those people. We're meeting them. We're on site. We're going on site. We're mingling in your population. We're doing everything we can. If you've got a staff meeting, we're going to be there. We may not say a word, but we're going to be there and talk to people after, get to know them, be around. Put the investment in first, because then once we've established those relationships, they feel comfortable with us. Now we're able to make inroads with those really tricky people, with the really difficult people that need our help badly. And then we form those relationships. So it's all relational. And that's what's so hard, and that's what takes so much effort, and that's why you're not seeing this proliferated, because it's easy to say, I'm gonna buy an AI program that's going to solve it. And you know what? It won't, because these people aren't going to comply with it. They're not going to give into that. They're going to get so turned off when they get a phone call from a representative from the insurance company that asks them, "Did you take your lisinopril today?" They're going to be like, "Yeah, I did, and screw you, and next time I'm not going to answer the phone." Right? Whereas like, hey, with our system, because it's relational, they know we care about them first. They open up, and we don't talk about changing any of that stuff until they're ready, until they've made the breakthrough.
And that's great. You can really see that when people make a breakthrough. I get so excited when I watch an employee or somebody that somebody I do work with, maybe a human in my life, and they're making progress, and all of a sudden I get that call, I'm like, hey, look what I did this last week, and I start to see. All of a sudden they're reading, I just had someone call me up and said that it was a young person, and they're reading the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yeah,
I'm like,
great.
Wow, that's awesome, right? That just the thought that you're reading something like that, like you're on a good path. Now you're starting to think about what's possible in my life, and from those places where we're that employee or those people are stuck, having a gift like you guys to guide them out of the darkness it's a true gift for an entrepreneur to bring to their staff. You guys are kind of like a partner in my employees' well-being.
Absolutely, 100% of the way. And the nice thing is it's infectious. It's not just the business owner that feels that way. It's the people that are working with them. They notice a difference. Hey, by the way, this guy's better rested. He's better controlled on his blood sugar. He's less irritable, and all of a sudden he's easier to deal with. And it bleeds through the whole culture. And what you start to see over time is everybody's more motivated. And that's what we've seen with clients. Their total satisfaction scores of their employees are going up. For those that take those surveys, it's going up. Their retention rates are going up. Their claims cost relative to trend is going down. It's all the things you want to see happen. And they have more productive, happy people. They're getting the best out of the employees they have, that's what you want, because you don't want turnover. You don't want to have to get rid of somebody because they're non-productive. You hired them to begin with. You want to make them work. You want to keep them there, because that's less costly to you long term, and that's better for your whole team. If you've got a revolving door, everybody's like, well, when am I going to be leaving, right? And that gets really, really unnerving.
Yeah, unhealthy people make an unhealthy company, right?
Absolutely.
You can really see the companies that care about their people. They invest in them and really start to work on, find those little margins that increase their life. And then as that happens, It's, how I do this is how I do everything. Right, we can really see it, Jeremy. We can really see how it's a holistic approach to each human in the organization. And I often say if this type of relationship can help grow just a couple % in people's well-being, you can see that translate to the bottom dollar, and that becomes more profitable, also less expenses, right? Which ultimately makes more profitability, and it's a much better environment to come to work in, right? It's a much better place to come to work with. So you come in and you start to build those relationships with them. And what it look like on an average week? I mean, is it something you're saying
Sure.
out weekly? Let's talk a little bit about how that relationship
Yeah.
goes with the employees.
Early on, I mean, we might be meeting with them a few times a week. Just to get to know them, the first meeting is really relational, right? We're bringing in that participant. They've agreed to meet with us because of all the other stuff we've done. They think, okay, I realize I've got a problem. I'll give it one last shot. I'm not ready to give up quite yet, but here we go. I'm a little skeptical. We meet with them. We go to a private location. It might be off-site. It might be someplace within your organization, a conference room, something like that. And we just get to know you first, right? We're going to talk about, here's what we see. Here's what we think we can help you with, but let's talk about you, right? Because it starts with that. You got to build that trust. And nobody else in your organization is going to be able to spend the time to get to know them the way we will. At the end of it, for those people we manage, we will know those people better than anybody in your organization does. And then once we've built that trust, maybe we're talking about, hey, here's some questions to ask your doctor. We have concerns about this. Maybe this specialist is prescribing something that's conflicting with this. Let's get that under control first. And, hey, what are some easy goals, right? Why don't you get up and walk, from your desk, just walk to the water cooler, triple the amount of times you do it. Let's just start there, something really simple. And oh, by the way, we're going to do a little bit of portion control. Or maybe you like the Mediterranean diet. We'll work with that. Or you like keto, we'll work with that. They're all great. You can make progress on all of them. But we start to build that, and you build on very, very small progress, because the minute you overwhelm them, they're gone, right? I can't do this anymore. I give up. That's why they keep failing, because they're undisciplined to begin with, and they're trying to bite off more than they can chew. We keep that bite very small. So you meet with them a lot early on, and as they get better and better under control, so now this person's blood sugars are dropping, and now their doctor's got them on half the metformin prescription that they were on before, and their A1C is now in the 6s, and they're getting close to being out of diabetes, which we've seen happen. We have numerous cases a year where people that were diabetic are now considered not diabetic.
Wow.
And that seems impossible.
Right.
That seems impossible, right? Because of those incremental changes and the support. And sometimes our nurses will do it with them. Hey, you know what? Let's go work out together. Let's do it together, because I know you need that support. And I need it too. And most of our nurses have a story. They've gone through this stuff too. So it's relatable. They're talking to somebody. They're not talking to somebody that walks in and's been stick thin their whole life and never had any challenges. They're talking to a person that's been just like them and had to work through these issues. And over time, those little bits, that little bit of effort every single week, they make huge changes in their health. And then by the end of it, we're meeting with them, maybe once every couple months, checking in on them every quarter just to see, hey, how are you doing? Is everything under control?
Nice.
And the cool thing is we never drop them from the program. Once you're a part of this program, you are always a part of the program because it's very important. As long as you're on that health plan, there's always the potential for backsliders. And so we want to be there to support you whatever stage you're in. If you stay under control for the next 20 years, great. But we're going to be there making sure you do.
That's awesome. Jeremy, I got to tell you, it is a pleasure to have companies that are out there that are looking for our people's best interests. You guys are a breath of fresh air. Being able to be there to support our employees, create programs that make our company more, filled with more vitality, really bringing, look, at the end of the day, making money is great. But as an entrepreneur, I'm always looking at how do I take care of the people that work for me, right? How do I look at, at first it was about survival, right? I got through survival and that, just make enough money to take care of myself and my family. But now it's looking at, all right, I'd like to walk off this planet knowing that the people that I worked with, they left the planet better because of the work that we did together and the way that the company that we built and the way that they acted. And I that's what really special about. That's what I'm excited about having on the show and really telling your story about the work that you and your company do. It is a gift, and I am so proud to have you here. If people want to bring you in and come have you take a look and support their company, right? And by the way, guys, if you're self-insured, these are the type of programs that literally don't cost you. They actually make you money. Right at the end of it, by doing this work and doing this, at the end will bring your costs down, right? And you may look at the initial cost. I don't want to spend money up front, but the cost in the long run ends up coming down dramatically, and the employee satisfaction and their productivity go up. This is the kind of work that it's well worth it. Just take it from a guy who's been around, being an entrepreneur for a long time. Investing in our people always pays off. So, Jeremy, if people want to get a hold of you, where do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can go to curely.com. There's a section where you can put in your information. It gets you in contact with me and our sales team, and we can talk about next steps and look into everything you're doing. But I would just add, our clients are typically experiencing a 3 to 4 to 1 ROI. It's good stuff. It takes 6 months to really get it going, but once you've developed those relationships, you can see it's big stuff. And I would also add, as a fellow business owner, wouldn't you rather work with people that are happy to be there and happy and healthy every day? It's a lot of work when you have discontented employees. It's a lot of stress to you as well. So it's a health benefit to you to have healthy employees.
What would you say that you guys do this nationwide?
We're currently really focused on the Midwest, but we have the ability to be pretty much anywhere in the U.S. We have a hub and spoke type business model, so we get in with one and then we build out from there.
That's awesome. Well, I got to tell you, I'm grateful to have you on here. Folks, we'll put all of Jeremy's contact information down below. As always, we're grateful for you listening. And if you guys have any great ideas or stuff you want to bring to the podcast, you want us to unwind and learn more about, please send that in the comments. As always, thanks for listening.